It started in silence. Then came the sirens. Nadia was only 9 years old when her world changed overnight. Her hometown in Gaza, once a place of loud street vendors and quiet school mornings, became the epicenter of fear. The sky lit up not with fireworks, but with airstrikes. Her father, once a teacher, turned into a man of few words and fast decisions. Her mother packed bags without telling Nadia why. Her little brother clutched a teddy bear and asked why the neighbors were screaming. There was no time for answers. On October 9, 2023, one day after a new wave of bombings hit their neighborhood, the family fled. Nadia's father had heard rumors of a safe corridor, temporary, dangerous, but better than staying. So they ran, first by foot, through streets that no longer had names. Nadia wore her school backpack. Inside, a notebook, an apple, a crumpled photo of her grandparents. Explosions echoed behind them. Twice, they had to hide inside abandoned buildings. Once, they saw a man collapse from shrapnel. Her brother stopped speaking after that. The family crossed into southern Gaza, but the shelters were overcrowded. Food was scarce. Sanitation was worse. Her mother developed a cough that didn't go away. Weeks passed. Then the bombs came again. Her father made the hardest choice of his life. He gave Nadia to a distant cousin who had paid smugglers to reach Egypt. "You have to go," he told her. "You'll be safer. One day, you can help us." Nadia didn't understand. She clung to her mother for the last time. Her brother cried silently. And just like that, she was pulled into the tide of refugees heading west. The crossing. Nadia walked for hours, then rode in a truck packed with strangers, then walked again. At night, she slept on cardboard. One man tried to steal her bag. Another tried to offer her food with conditions. She learned quickly, trust no one, speak only when needed, always look like you belong to someone. In Egypt, she was processed through a camp. Thousands of faces, a blur of languages, barbed wire fences and UNICEF tents. A woman gave her a pair of shoes 2 sizes too big. She was lucky, but she was alone. A volunteer nurse named Samar noticed her silence. She asked Nadia to draw her story. Nadia drew bombs, a house split in two, and a girl with a teddy bear crossing a river of fire. Samar cried. Then she called an aid organization that relocated unaccompanied minors to host countries. 2 months later, Nadia was on a plane. A new country, a new war. Nadia arrived in Spain just before Christmas. She had never seen snow. Her host family, the Martinez, lived in a small town near Zaragoza. They greeted her with coats, warm soup, and a room with stars on the ceiling. But trauma doesn't stop at the border. She flinched at loud noises. She didn't speak for weeks. At school, she didn't understand the language, the customs, or why children laughed so much. Her teachers were kind but puzzled. Only her host sister Lucia, age 11, seemed to understand. Lucia showed her how to draw maps, how to learn words by labeling furniture, how to say okay with a thumbs up. And slowly, Nadia came back. She found her voice in science class. She loved diagrams. She wanted to know how the body worked. Her mother had gotten sick and nobody had explained why. Now she wanted to understand, to prevent it, to heal it. She said it one day at dinner, quietly. "I want to be a doctor." Lucia clapped. Her host parents cried. Year 3. Nadia had learned Spanish. She was reading biology textbooks for fun. She volunteered at the local Red Cross to translate Arabic. She wrote letters to Gaza that never reached her family, but she kept writing.
The cold desert wind was harsh against Nadia's skin. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. Her little brother Kareem hadn't spoken since they crossed the last checkpoint. He just clung to her waist, eyes wide with fear, heart heavy with exhaustion. They made it to a UN shelter near the Rafah border, but the crowd outside was massive. Families crying, children screaming, volunteers trying to manage chaos. One woman fainted. A boy bled from a leg wound. The gates were closed. Too many people, too little space. Nadia stood still, clutching Kareem, tears drying on her cheeks. A volunteer with a vest and clipboard walked past. Nadia didn't beg. She just looked at her, silently. The woman noticed. Kneeling down, she said softly in broken Arabic, "Family?" Nadia nodded. "No parents, only us." The woman paused, then pulled a red ribbon from her bag and tied it around Nadia's wrist. "Wait here," she whispered. "Don't move." Hours passed, but eventually the gate opened again, just enough for a few children to be taken in. Nadia and Kareem were among them. Inside, there was water, rice, blankets, medical aid, a temporary peace. But Nadia didn't feel safe. She couldn't sleep without waking in panic. Loudspeakers made her flinch. Helicopter sounds made her cry. She began to draw to cope. Charcoal lines on cardboard scraps. She drew her village, her parents, her school, her grandmother's balcony. One day, an older man noticed her drawings. He was a Danish photojournalist documenting the refugee camps. He asked if she would let him photograph her artwork. She didn't answer, but kept drawing. He posted them online, called them Nadia's War. The images went viral. Within days, international journalists were calling the UN shelter asking about her. NGOs reached out. A Swiss-based foundation offered her asylum. Another said they'd take her and Kareem together.
Nadia didn't understand the weight of it, but she saw how the staff treated her differently, gently, with awe, like she mattered. 2 months later, they boarded a plane, their first ever. The silence in the aircraft was strange, clean, almost surreal. Kareem clutched her hand, terrified. Nadia looked out the window and whispered, "Look, Mama, I'm flying." They landed in Geneva. The air was crisp, the trees unfamiliar, but they were safe. Nadia was placed in a foster home, a kind couple who'd lost their daughter in a car crash years before. They gave Nadia her own room, a notebook, paints. She didn't speak much, but she painted every day. Her trauma poured onto canvas. At 13, she had her first exhibit, What the War Took. At 15, she gave a TEDx talk in broken French. At 17, she testified at a human rights conference in Brussels. Her story, from bombs to brushstrokes, inspired thousands. Kareem, now strong and smiling, joined a football club. He didn't remember the worst parts, and Nadia never reminded him. Years later, she said in an interview, "I lost my home. I lost my family. But I didn't lose my voice. I still run, but now I run towards something." Today, Nadia Dawood is an artist, activist, and war survivor. Her work funds trauma therapy for refugee children. She's painted murals in 12 countries, always leaving space for others to add their own memories, because she believes healing is not silence, it's creation. And the girl who once ran from war now teaches others how to survive it. If this story moved you, subscribe to Resilient Stories.